Welcome back. I'm still powering on with writing videos this week for all the locations that I've been to during my absence. In this episode, I'm going to focus on a place that many of us have seen, but few of us know the location of. I shall give you a hint of where it is. That's right, Wells in Somerset, the setting for many British films and series such as Wolf Hall, Dungeons and Dragons, Honour Amongst Thieves, and my personal favourite, Hot Fuzz. After months of planning, weeks of messing about, and much time spent pondering on whether the trip was going to go ahead, the real-life Goonies got their asses in gear and travelled to that foreign country, England. Normally I'd have my security with me for an excursion like this, but I felt she needed some time off from me, since it is like trying to herd a cat on cocaine into an MRI machine on a daily basis. So the Three Stooges and I all head down to the Mendip Hills. The idea was that we would go and watch the Wales vs England Six Nations match in England for a bit of banter with the locals. But due to a cock-up with the timing and shift changes, the four of us ended up being in Wales for the Scottish match. Less atmosphere, but Wales still had a hiding. Anyhow, as you may imagine, I cannot go anywhere without finding out about the history and rooting around like a truffle pig for ghostly goings-on. Safe to say, where we were staying was bound to be a good starting point. Not only was it an incredible rustic building, but it was also on Sadler Street. Very apt since Sadler is my surname. All websites and locations in this episode are in the description below. I spoke to the staff who told me about several ghostly occurrences that have happened. The first, a young staff member had spent the morning setting up the dining room, ready for the breakfast rush. As he turned and headed towards the kitchen area, he heard an almighty crash behind him. He turned and ran towards the dining room, only to see all the cutlery, crockery and tablecloths thrown into the corner of the room, leaving every table bare. Since he'd only left the room 30 seconds earlier, he couldn't see any way that every tablecloth could have been cleared at the same time and all thrown with such force. On another occasion, a customer had something land on their head with a great force. When they picked it up, they found it was a 50p piece. It landed on their head with such force that it could only have been thrown. The problem with this? They were stood under the arch shown in this picture, and no one else was in sight, and this 50p came from directly above. They also said that some staff have experienced objects moving in the rooms upstairs, and felt a presence within the rooms. We travelled to various pubs during our stay, but safe to say I was in no fit state to ask any questions about ghosts, as the booze was flowing freely to the point where I could no longer control the movement of my tongue. Therefore, from here on, you will have to rely on my Googling skills to fill in the blanks. One of the interesting pubs that we stopped by was the Old City Jail. Based on the name, it's not hard to imagine what the bar used to be. The building acted as the city jail from 1606. In 1689, an alehouse was erected on site to supplement drink to the prisoners. The courtyard was originally used as a gallows, but it also held a dunking stool and the scold's bridle. According to online sources, the hangman is said to wander the corridors. Then we have the Crown, once again heavily utilised in Hot Fuzz.
Right you are, my love.
We stopped in there to have a pint, but with it being a sunny day, it was packed, so they didn't have the time to chat to me about spirits, not including the spirits that they have behind the bar. According to the online sources, there are several ghosts that haunt the property. From the ghost of a Victorian gentleman who stands next to the fireplace and watches people, to an English Civil War soldier, and an old woman clutching a handbag who is seen wandering the corridors, but when staff try to catch up to her, they can't find her anywhere. I only managed to capture one photo of this pub. A photo more unnerving than any ghost or ghoul. My finest pal Lee. He's a special kind of weirdo, bless him. Not only that, but after the night out, we all went back to our separate rooms to sleep it off. I crashed out on the bed and woke up later that evening because I'd left the curtains open and with the outside light shining on my face. I stirred enough to peel myself off the bed to shut the curtains. But as I held the curtains in each hand, I looked down to the courtyard below, only to see two faces looking back at me in disbelief. As my alcohol-addled brain tried to make sense of what I was seeing, they burst out laughing. It was at this point I realized that before I had crashed out, I had actually managed to get undressed. And now these two gents had a worm's eye view of my worm and swings. At least someone saw something scary that night. And this is why I need security/a carer. Well, that's all from us here at Dark Entertainment. I hope that you've enjoyed the episode. And if so, please remember to subscribe to the channel, slap the bell icon for all notifications, and hit the thumbs up since it really helps the channel grow. If you wish to contact me, feel free to drop a comment on the video. I aim to answer all comments in one way or another. Or you can find me on X or on Facebook. And if you have a suggestion for the channel, a location that you'd like me to look into, or a personal story that you'd like me to tell, feel free to message me at dark_entertainment@outlook.com. And remember, stay dark, stay creepy, and always laugh. Ta-ta!